Good morning, students. Today, I am going to discuss about gene interactions or interaction of genes. This is a new topic. From this topic, questions appear in examinations. When you analyze the previous AAPMT papers, you will find gene interaction ratios and examples. And that is why we have to read this topic also. That is gene interactions or interaction of genes. Gene interactions. I will discuss a brief account on gene interactions. Otherwise, each one take one class. Therefore, simply I will tell you what is the meaning of that particular interaction, example for that one, and also the modified ratio for that interaction. Okay, so let us discuss one by one. First, let you know what is meant by gene interaction or interaction of gene. The phenomena of two or more genes affecting each other in various ways to express a single character is known as gene interaction. I repeat, gene interaction is a phenomena in which two or more genes interacting in various ways or affecting various ways to express a particular character is known as gene interaction. Some characters in organisms are developed due to interaction of two or more genes. There are several types of gene interactions. All these gene interactions are broadly divided into two types. Types of interactions of genes. First one, allelic gene interaction. Second one, non-allelic gene interactions. Non-allelic gene interactions. There are two types of gene interactions, namely allelic gene interactions and non-allelic gene interactions. What is a gene interaction? It is a phenomena in which two or more genes affecting each other in various ways to express a single character. Some characters in organisms are produced due to interaction of two or more genes. And all these interactions are divided into basically two types. The two types are allelic gene interactions and non-allelic gene interactions. Then what are allelic gene interactions? Here, see, this is one homologous chromosome and this is another homologous chromosome, or you can say this is one pair of homologous chromosomes. Here, this is the locus, same locus, because same alleles are there here. That means this is one gene having two alternate forms, same locus. When two alleles interact with each other of the same locus, such interactions are called allelic interactions. When interaction occurs at the same locus, it is called allelic gene interaction. When interaction occurs between two alleles of the same locus, such interactions are called allelic gene interactions. The best examples for allelic gene interactions are complete dominance, incomplete dominance, and codominance. Complete dominance, incomplete dominance, and codominance are example for allelic gene interactions, right? So what are allelic gene interactions? When gene interaction occurs between two alleles of the single locus, then it is known as allelic gene interaction. Examples are complete dominance, incomplete dominance, and codominance. Then non-allelic gene interactions. When gene interaction occurs between two or more genes of different locus present on the same chromosome or different chromosome are called non-allelic gene interactions. I repeat, when gene interaction occurs between two or more genes present at different locus of the same chromosome or different chromosome are called as non-allelic gene interactions. For example, this is one homologous chromosome, this is another homologous chromosome, therefore it is a pair of homologous chromosomes. Here one locus, this is another locus. Here two different loci are there. Here one pair of alleles, here one pair of alleles, or otherwise you can say here one gene is present, here another gene is present. When this gene interact with this gene and produces a character, such interactions are called non-allelic interactions, because here one type of alleles is another type of. These alleles are non-allelic to this one. These alleles are non-allelic to this one. So when these two alleles are interacting with each other, that is called non-allelic gene interactions, right? And these are of different types. They are: 1. Epistasis. Epistasis. Again, these are of two types: dominant epistasis and recessive epistasis. Second one, complementary genes. Complementary genes. Third one, supplementary genes. Supplementary genes. Fourth one, duplicate genes. These are two types: without cumulative effect and with cumulative effect. With cumulative effect. Duplicate genes without cumulative effect, duplicate genes with cumulative effect. Next one, collaborative genes. Collaborative genes. And lethal genes. Lethal gene interaction. And these are again two types: dominant lethal gene interaction and recessive gene interactions. Dominant lethal gene interaction and recessive lethal gene interaction. These are the examples of non-allelic gene interactions. interaction between two genes on two different loci of the same chromosome or different chromosomes are called non-allelic gene interactions. They include epistasis, complementary genes, supplementary genes, duplicate genes, collaborative genes, and lethal genes. Again, epistasis is divided into two types, dominant epistasis and recessive epistasis. Similarly, duplicate genes without cumulative genes one type, duplicate genes with cumulative effect another type. And similarly, lethal genes are divided in two types, dominant lethal gene interaction and recessive lethal gene interaction. So you have to know what is the meaning of epistasis, what is dominant epistasis, what is recessive epistasis, example for each one and their modified ratios. So you have to write down after understanding the concept, then only you can remember, right? Let us discuss one by one. The first one is epistasis. What is meant by epistasis first? Epistasis means when a gene at one locus inhibit or mask the expression of other gene at other locus, then it is called epistasis. I repeat. For example, see here, this is the chromosome. This is one locus. Here one gene is present. This is another locus. Here the another gene is there. So two different genes at two different locus, right? Now what I am telling is here, what is epistasis? One gene at one locus inhibiting the expression of other gene at other locus because it is a non-allelic gene interaction. This gene, for example, inhibit the expression of this gene, and this inhibition of one gene, the other gene, this gene inhibit the other gene, then the phenomena is called epistasis and the genes are called epistatic gene. Now I will tell you the difference between epistatic gene and hypostatic gene. What is epistatic gene? Inhibiting gene. Inhibiting gene. I mean to say, this gene inhibiting this gene. Now this gene is called epistatic gene. Because of this gene is inhibited, its expression. Therefore, it is called hypostatic gene. Hypostatic gene is inhibited gene. I think you understand the difference between epistatic gene and hypostatic gene. This gene in this case inhibiting this gene, therefore this is epistatic gene. This gene, because of this, it is inhibited, therefore it is hypostatic gene. Now, the epistasis is divided into two types: dominant epistasis and recessive epistasis. First, we will see about dominant epistasis. Okay, see here, this is chromosome. Here two genes are there. Here one gene, another gene is there. Dominant genes are there here. For example, P. This is one gene, this is another dominant. This is dominant gene, this is dominant gene. If one dominant gene at one locus inhibit the expression of other gene, whether it is dominant or recessive, it is called dominant epistasis. One dominant gene at one locus inhibit the expression of another dominant or recessive gene at another locus. As dominant gene inhibit the expression of another dominant or recessive gene at another locus, this is called as dominant epistasis, right? The best example is fruit color in cucurbita. Dominant epistasis is observed in fruit color in cucurbita. Because of this, the dihybrid phenotypic ratio is modified and the ratio of dominant epistasis is 12:3:1. So you have to remember 3 points. What is dominant epistasis? You have to understood. Example for dominant epistasis and the ratio of this one. That's all. Then second one, recessive epistasis. Recessive epistasis. Here, dominant gene inhibiting the other gene at another locus, right? But here it is reverse. When recessive alleles at one locus inhibit dominant or recessive alleles at other locus, then it is called recessive epistasis. Here I told you dominant allele at one locus inhibiting the both the alleles, whether dominant or recessive at other locus, it is called dominant. Here it is reverse. See, this is a chromosome. Here recessive alleles are there. Here dominant allele or recessive allele is there. For example, see here recessive allele, here dominant is the recessive allele. These alleles, recessive alleles, inhibit the other, whether it is dominant or recessive alleles, then it is called recessive epistasis. Recessive gene inhibiting the dominant or recessive genes at other allele, then it is called recessive epistasis. So completely different here. Here dominant allele suppress the expression of other gene at other locus. Here recessive alleles suppress the expression of dominant alleles. When a pair of recessive alleles are present, these recessive alleles in this case suppress the expression of dominant or recessive alleles present at other locus. This is commonly seen in case of fruit color in cucurbita is an example for dominant epistasis, and pigmentation in onion is best example. So onions are different in colors, like white color, red color, pink color, like that. The pigmentation in onion bulb is an example for recessive epistasis. Here the ratio is modified as 9:3:4. 9:3:4. This is the modified ratio. So this is about epistasis, right? So you have to remember what is epistatic gene, what is hypostatic gene, meaning of dominant epistasis, example ratio, recessive epistasis, example ratio. These are very important. Then complementary genes. The second one, complementary genes. What are complementary genes? And what is complementary gene interaction? Right. When two dominant genes at different loci interact with each other and produces a new phenotype, then it is called complementary gene interaction, and such genes are called complementary genes. See here, this is a chromosome. Here one dominant gene is there. Here other dominant gene is there. This gene interact with this gene and produces a new phenotype. Either this one independently or this one independently cannot produce that character. Only the interaction of the two dominant genes produces a character, then it is called complementary gene. For example, see, capital C, small p produce white color of the flower. Similarly, small c, capital P produce the same, that is white flower color. Now when these interacting and this gene, both dominant genes interact and come into the one individual, capital C, capital P, small p, it produces a colored flower. See, this dominant gene cannot produce color individually. This dominant gene cannot produce the color individually. Now these two interacted and produces new color, that is called colored flowers. When these are selfed in the F2, a modified ratio is produced, that is 9:7. The best example for this is flower color in sweet pea. Flower color in sweet pea is an example for complementary genes. This question appeared 2 times or 3 times in previous examinations. Which of the following is a complementary gene interaction ratio? 9:7. Okay. And the best example for complementary gene interaction is flower color in sweet pea, that is Lathyrus odoratus. Okay, right. So what are complementary genes? When two dominant genes at two different loci interact with each other and produces a new phenotype, and either of the genes individually cannot produce that character. Such genes are called complementary genes. Example, flower color in sweet pea, and the ratio is 9:7. Colored 9, white 7 are produced. Next one, supplementary genes. Supplementary genes. What are supplementary genes? And what is supplementary gene interaction? Try to understand carefully. Here, out of the non-allelic genes, one dominant gene itself produce a character. Listen carefully. Out of non-allelic genes, here one allelic gene, here another allelic gene is there, right? At two different loci. This is dominant gene, this expresses itself and produces a phenotype, right? Produces a phenotype. But this is also a dominant gene, but it cannot produce a new phenotype by its own. For its expression, the first gene support is required. I repeat here. There are two dominant genes, right? At different loci. The first gene expresses its character without the support of other one, but second one is also dominant, but itself cannot express. For expression of this second gene, support from the first gene is required. So this will express by taking the support from first gene. Therefore, such genes are called supplementary genes. I hope you understood. What are supplementary genes? Out of non-allelic genes, one dominant gene is express itself a particular character, but second one is also dominant gene, but itself cannot express. But for expression of this, or it expressed only when the support of the first gene is there, then such genes are called supplementary genes. The best example is seed coat color. seed coat. On the surface of the seed, there is a seed coat, no? And that seed coat color in lab, that is Dolichos. Seed coat color in lab is an example for supplementary genes. The modified ratio for these genes is 9:3:4. 9:3:4, similar to that of recessive epistasis. Recessive epistasis modified ratio, supplementary gene modified ratio was found to be the same, that is 9:3:4. That is why recessive epistasis is also called supplementary epistasis. Supplementary epistasis, right? This is about supplementary genes. Then duplicate genes. Fourth one, duplicate genes. What are duplicate genes? Similar type of genes, duplication. One pair, duplicate of this one. Regarding the expression of characters. For the sake, there are two pairs of genes are there, but this pair is duplication of this pair, or this pair is the duplication of this pair. Such pairs of genes influence the same character, they are called as duplicate genes. I think you understand. Two genes are there. For example, capital A, small a, capital B, small b is there. These express the same character. This also express the same character. That means in the absence of this gene express the same. In the absence of this one, this express the same. Therefore, this gene is duplicate of this one, or this gene is duplicate of this one, and such genes are called duplicate genes. Two pairs of genes express the same trait or same character are called duplicate genes. These are divided into two types. One, duplicate genes without cumulative effect. Without cumulative effect. Duplicate genes without cumulative effect. This is seen in fruit shape of shepherd's purse. Shepherd's purse. This is the name of the plant. Fruit shape in shepherd's purse plant is an example for duplicate genes without cumulative effect. The botanical name of this one is Capsella bursa pastoris. Capsella bursa pastoris. Simply remember Capsella, scientific name. Shepherd's purse is the common name. In this plant, the fruits show two types of shape: triangular shape and top shaped. See, except this condition, all other conditions express the same character, that is triangular. For example, whether it is present in this condition or this condition or this condition like this or this condition like this, one dominant gene is enough to control this character, but no dominant gene is there in both the cases, then it is expressed a top shaped fruit. That means this is the duplicate gene for this one. This is the duplicate for this one. Without cumulative, this can express the triangular, this can express the triangular shape. So shape of fruit in shepherd's purse is best example for duplicate genes without cumulative effect. So both the genes express the same character. In the absence of both the dominant genes, it produces that means in homozygous recessive condition only, it produces top shape. In all other cases, it produces triangular shape. Then second one is duplicate genes with cumulative effect. Duplicate genes with cumulative effect. The best example, fruit shape in summer squash. Summer squash, nothing but cucumber. Cucumber is commonly called summer squash. Fruit shape in summer squash is best example for duplicate genes with cumulative effect. And the modified ratio for this it is 15:1. Here it is 9:6:1. See, I think you understand. Duplicate genes without cumulative effect is seen in fruit shape of shepherd's purse plant. The modified ratio for this is 15:1. All 15 triangular shape, only one in homozygous recessive condition, top shaped fruits were obtained. But here it is different. Fruit shapes are different. Duplicate genes with cumulative effect. That means here one gene is there, here another gene is there. This is duplicate, this is also duplicate of this one, no doubt about that. This one and this one are duplicate. Duplicate of this one is this one, or vice versa. But when this gene interact with this gene, only character is expressed. The cumulative effect of both the genes produces the character. That is why these are called the duplicate genes with the cumulative effect. Without accumulation, this one. With accumulation, this one. So both are duplicate. Here duplicate genes, here also duplicate genes. Here character is independently expressed by each one. Here by interaction of these genes only, it produces the character. So fruit shape in summer squash is best example for duplicate genes with cumulative effect. The modified ratio is 9:6:1. This is about duplicate genes. Next one, collaborative genes. What are collaborative genes? Collaborative genes. In collaboration, what happens is the two genes independently express their characters or traits. But when these two genes are interacting with each other, all together a new phenotype is produced. Two genes are present at two gene loci because it is a non-allelic interaction. Here one gene, here one gene. This gene express one character, this gene express another character. Don't confuse with complementary genes. Here both the genes express the same character. In that case, here one gene express one character, another gene express another character. When these two interacted, all together a new character is created. That gene is called collaborative gene. I will show you an example. The best one here is comb types. Comb types in poultry birds. comb types in poultry is an example for collaborative genes. What is a comb? On the head of the bird, there is a red colored structure that is called comb. For example, here, rose comb is controlled by capital R, small p, small p. Similarly, pea comb, another kind of comb. Small r, capital P. I told you already that. Two genes, two dominant genes at two different loci. Control, this one control one character, this one control another character. But in complementary gene interaction, both genes the same character. Now, here the rose comb is like this. This is, if you look at the bird, here you see the shape of the comb is like this. Then it is called rose comb. This is pea comb. See this? Small height, will find this one. Here this is hanging like this. So when a rose comb containing bird is crossed with a pea comb, in the F1, it produces altogether a new one, that is walnut comb. It shows capital R, capital P, small p, right? Therefore, here it is like this. This is called walnut comb. See this? One dominant gene express one character, that is rose here. Another dominant gene, another character, that is pea comb. When these two dominant genes enters into the same, altogether a new combination is appeared, that is called walnut comb. When this is intercrossed in the F2, it produces 9:3:3:1. But the ratio is similar to that of dihybrid phenotypic ratio. But here the the progeny are different, because when these two parents are crossed, you will get a different parent. So F1 must show resemblance with one of the dominant parent. Therefore, the ratio will be the same, but it is due to interaction of genes, and such genes are called collaborative genes, and the interaction is called collaborative gene interaction. The best example for this, comb types in poultry. Rose comb, pea comb. Rose is controlled by this dominant gene, pea is controlled by this dominant gene. But when these two genes interact with each other, it produces another comb type called walnut comb. And in the F2, they produce in the ratio of 9:3:3:1. Okay. And last one is lethal genes. Lethal genes. Lethality. Dangerous. Lethality means dangerous. Lethal genes, dangerous genes. The genes which inhibit the development of an organism, or the genes which causes death of the organism, are called lethal genes, and the interaction is called lethal gene interaction. What are lethal genes? The genes which causes death of the individual, particularly in homozygous condition. And such genes are called lethal genes. And the interaction is called lethal gene interaction. These are of two types. One, dominant lethal gene interaction. Dominant lethal gene interaction. Here see, in case of coat color of mice, when yellow, green mice are crossed, it produces yellow mice in the F1. In the F2, it produces capital Y, capital Y, small y. It produces in the F2 in the ratio of 1:2:1. See, like this. Capital Y, capital Y, capital Y, small y, capital Y, small y, small y, small y. It will survive homozygous recessive. Heterozygous survive. Heterozygous survive. But this combination of genes containing organism died due to dominant genes. Homozygous condition. Due to presence of dominant genes in homozygous condition, this organism will die. I think you understand. So the ratio 1:2:1 actual ratio. Here, when two dominant genes comes to the homozygous condition, the organism cannot survive due to lethality. Therefore, this will die. Therefore, the ratio is modified as 2:1. The best example for this genes in human beings is Huntington's disease. Huntington's disease. Huntington's disease in human beings is an example for dominant lethal gene interaction. Huntington's disease is an example for dominant lethal gene interaction. The dominant lethal gene interaction ratio is 2:1. When two dominant genes in homozygous condition, the organism cannot survive, it will die. Therefore, the ratio is modified as 2:1. The best example is Huntington's disease. It is nothing but this disease is characterized by neurological disorder. It is a Huntington's disease is a neurological disorder in human beings. It is a neurological disorder in humans. That is Huntington's disease. I think you understand. Lethal genes are dangerous genes. It is of two types. One, dominant lethal genes. Another, recessive lethal genes. I told you regarding dominant lethal genes. When genes are present in homozygous dominant condition, such organism cannot survive due to lethality. The remaining will survive. Best example for that in human beings is Huntington's disease. It is a neurological disorder. That's all. Next one is recessive lethal gene interaction. Recessive lethal gene interaction. Recessive lethal gene interaction. Here, when the genes are present in homozygous recessive condition, the organism cannot survive due to homozygous recessive condition. Such gene interaction is called recessive lethal gene interaction. Most of the lethal genes are recessive. Very important bit. Most of the lethal genes are recessive. That means recessive lethal genes are most common type, but not dominant lethal genes. Recessive lethal genes are most common type. This is the common type. For example, see capital B, capital small b, capital B, small b, heterozygous individuals. When you cross this one, it produces, see here, capital B, small b, capital B, small b. You will get capital B, capital B, capital B, small b, capital B, small b, small b, small b. Among these four organisms, they are obtained in the ratio of 1:2, 2:1, right? Which organism will die? In this case, recessive lethal gene interaction. The organism which is having genes in homozygous recessive condition will not survive. So this one cannot survive because both the genes, that is recessive genes, are present in homozygous condition. But this will survive, this will survive, this will survive. The organism having homozygous recessive genes will not survive. Therefore, this will die. This will die. Therefore, the ratio is modified as 1:2. So, the modified ratio for recessive lethal gene interaction is 1:2, and the modified ratio for dominant lethal gene interaction is 2:1. Why? Because here the organism having dominant genes in homozygous condition cannot survive. Here the organism having recessive genes in homozygous condition cannot survive. So here the ratio is 2:1. Here it is 1:2. The example for this is Tay-Sachs disease. Tay-Sachs disease in human beings. This is characterized by destroying of neurons in brain and spinal cord. The symptom of this disease is Tay-Sachs disease is caused due to recessive lethal gene interaction in human beings. This is characterized by destroying of neurons in the brain and the spinal cord. So try to remember these two. Huntington's disease is an example for dominant lethal gene interaction. Tay-Sachs disease is an example for recessive lethal gene interaction. Here the organism having recessive genes in homozygous condition will not survive. Here the organisms having dominant genes in homozygous condition cannot survive. This is about lethal genes. Okay, these are the different kinds of non-allelic gene interactions. So you have to understand what are non-allelic gene interaction, and for each interaction you have to understand the meaning of that one, then what is the example for that, and then what is the modified ratio. Suppose in examinations the questions are asked like this: comb types in poultry is due to 1, 2, 3 or 4 given a different types of interactions. In one interaction there is a collaborative genes are given. That is the correct answer. Which of the following ratio is a complementary gene interaction ratio as given? Different ratios are given in the options. One option contains 9:7. Therefore 9:7 is the complementary gene interaction ratio. Similarly, what is hypostatic gene? The question is asked. The gene which is inhibited by the action of other gene is called hypostatic gene. 12:3:1 ratio is a modified ratio of dihybrid cross. Is for which of the following? Dominant epistasis, recessive epistasis, supplementary genes, like that they are given. The correct answer is dominant epistasis. Like that you have to remember example and ratio for all these all these gene interactions. And more than that, you have to understand and don't confuse one from the other. One from the other. Both all are different interactions. Because of those interactions, new characters are produced. I hope you understood regarding the interactions of genes. And in one table, it was given as the types and examples and ratios. You should remember as far as examination is concerned. And that's all today. And tomorrow, we will discuss one more topic. Thank you, one and all.